Hey there, Theory 3 students. Today we're going to talk about enharmonic modulation. It's very similar to what we learned in abrupt modulation, but just a little bit different. So let's talk about that. So we're on page 327 in our textbook. And for our kind of explanation here, we have a passage in G major. We have a 1, 4, and 1, and go to a 5, 7. Now 5, 7 in G is going to be, we have D, F sharp, A, and C. Now, in the book here, we have something different. It goes from C to B sharp, which, if you are catching on, it's the exact same note on the keyboard, right? So C is the same thing as B sharp. Why are we thinking about it differently? Well, if we change this to B sharp, it's now going to fit as a triad, or, in thirds, right? If we put it down there, so then it would be B sharp, D, F sharp, and A. And if we remember, we think about German 6 chords as altered 4 chords, right? So B is now the 4 of what? F sharp. So basically all we did was we changed the name of a note, right? How we think about it, and then we got a whole different chord even though everything's going to sound the same. So let's go over that in your examples here. So page 333, get my eraser here. Page 333, exercise B. So the first one, we have B flat, E, G, and C. And our instructions are to first, for exercise, so for in exercise B 1 and 2, our instructions are to find a 5 chord and then change it enharmonically and make it a German 6 chord and figure out what key that is. So let's go ahead and do that. So this one's already given to you. So we start by identifying what our stacks of thirds are, right? So we have C, E, G, and B flat. So what is this the 5 chord of? Sorry, what key is this the 5 chord of? So then we count down from C down to F major, right? It could be F major or F minor if we really wanted. So that's how you're going to write the answers for the whole, the rest of that page there. So now, what do we have to do? So we take the 7th, right? So we have the root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. We take the 7th and we think about it enharmonically. So what is B flat but another way of thinking, like another note? A sharp, right? Because A sharp and B flat, they're going to be the same on the piano. And then you're just going to drag over E, G, and C. Now, remember we stacked them differently before. It now rearranges everything. So we keep C, E, G the same, but now where does A sharp fit? A sharp fits here. So then this is a German 6 of what key? Remember we said that it's an altered 4 chord. So we have A sharp, and we go down to what? A, G, F, and E, right? So then this is going to be your German 6 chord in E major or E minor, right? Okay, so that's how we have to think about that. So we keep the 3 notes the same, and we take our 7th and we bring it down enharmonically a note, right? So for example, B flat to A sharp. So let's figure out uh, 3 and 4, right, of exercise B. Just to get a good example of how we're thinking about things, right? So originally in 1 2, you're finding the 5 chord and going and you're then finding the German 6 chord in the next measure, right? We're doing the opposite here. Now, I'm going to give you a freebie because it's difficult. In as far as the way of thinking about it, you're not most of you might not get it first try. So I'm just going to give you a freebie and we'll then explain how the rest of them are going to work, which should be the same as what we did previously, but not this one. It's a little tricky. So it gives you F, A flat, B natural, and D flat. Now, that is going to be a German 6 of a certain key. So how do we stack our notes in thirds? We have F, and then where would A go? A flat would go above F, D flat would go here, and then B, right? B, D flat, F, and A flat. So remember, we'd probably raise this to make it a German 6. So then this would be a altered 4 German 6, however you want to think about it, in what key? Yes, so it's going to be F major or F minor, right? Now, here's the tricky part. So remember how we went down with the 7th before, which made it the augmented 6. Not augmented, the German 6, right? Which, yeah, you know what I mean. So, what was our note? It was B natural, right? So then we're going to go think about that. We're actually, in this specific one, we're going to keep that the same. And we're going to change everything else to go down. So D flat is also what note on the keyboard? Think of it the same. C sharp, right? C sharp and D flat, they're the same note. And then, what else do we have? We have A flat. A flat is the same as G sharp. And then F is the same as, this one's a little tricky, F is the same as E sharp, right? So now let's stack that up. So we have B, we have C sharp, we have E sharp, and G sharp. Now, what key could this then be the 5 of? Good. When you go down from C sharp down, you'll get F sharp. Okay, so this one works a little differently, right? So when you had going from 5/7 to German 6, right? You would have it go like that. The 7th would go up, right? Now it's reverse. So you have your German 6 going to 5/7, which is this here, but it's for exercises 3 and 4. You're going to have 3 voices remain the same, and you're going to have 1 voice go down because it's going from your augmented 6 down to your 7th of your 5/7, right? So that's a little bit of how we think about the rest of the chapter as far as enharmonic modulation. So it's going to be thinking about chords, but how notes can be perceived enharmonically, right? I hope this helps. I will see you guys Monday, and good luck with everything. Happy Thanksgiving, if I don't see you. But have a good rest of your weekend, and have a theory-tastic day.